Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here, and this is how to use Tapu Lele. So, I've been going through all the Tapu Pokemon, and I still have no idea what to make out of them. However, people on Twitter were telling me that this is the strongest Tapu. So, let's go and check out its Psychic Fairy typing. Interesting little typing we have here. I believe like Mr. Mime has it, or just some random Pokemon kind of end up with it. So, we can see that we will have a Poison, Ghost, and Steel weakness. And then not really too much to resist or anything. Dragon immunity, comes with Fairy, comes with Tapus. We've been talking about this already. And then a Fighting and Psychic resist. So we can come in on Fighting type Pokemon and absolutely ruin them. It's just something that we have the potential to do. Offensively, Psychic isn't insane, but it's insane at the same time. Like, we don't get a crazy amount of coverage off the Psychic, and then paired with the Fairy, we are still going to be resisted out by Steel type Pokemon. But having Psychic with the Fairy, pretty nice, because now we can actually take care of one of our weaknesses, and since Poison is getting pretty popular, mostly because of Toxapex, we now have a very powerful answer to the Toxapex as well, and then we can go and check out its stats. So, this is really weird for Tapus, and I keep saying weird and strange and interesting. That's really all that these guys are, because Tapu Koko, it's like the 115 attacker, but it ends up using its 95 special attack with a 130 speed. Well, this is what happens when you put all 130 into that special attack. Tapu Lele is pretty powerful, especially like a Fairy type Pokemon with a 130 special attack throwing out like Moonblast and stuff. That's a ridiculous level of hit right there, so that's gonna be pretty powerful. 95 on the speed though. If it was 115, this Pokemon would be like the most broken thing ever, like a 115 Psychic Fairy with a 130 special attack. That would be untouchable. So with the 95 speed, keeps the Pokemon balanced, and then defensively, Psychic Pokemon just generally have a high amount of special defense, so we can tank up and survive some decent special attacks, but physically, this is low range, that whenever I do my damage calculations, we're looking for those neutral KOs on like 70, 75 Pokemon, so that means Tapu Lele, it gets outsped, it falls into those ranges, so it can be pretty frail defensively. Alright, hopping on over into Serebii, we can go and check out the moveset right here. So Draining Kiss, if we want the sustain, we can rock it right there. We also do get the Calm Mind and some other little interesting moves, but for the most part, it's just going to be all offensive. That those defenses don't really give us too much room to play with. I don't feel that we need to really go any craziness out of our way to kind of set up. We just want to run damage. Now, the Energy Ball versus the Thunderbolt is something I was looking into mostly, and I feel that Thunderbolt is just going to be the best option because Water Poison type Pokemon, well, Poison type Pokemon are going to resist the Energy Ball, and then anything that the Energy Ball would hit, the Thunderbolt is just going to be a little bit more reliable on. So our coverage is going to look something like the Moonblast, Psychic, Thunderbolt, Shadow Ball. I think that that's going to work out pretty well. Shadow Ball is just going to be good for Ghost type Pokemon. Have something super effective against them. Same for like Psychic types. You also get to hit those pretty well. So just increasing our coverage to the maximum potential on an offensive Pokemon. But then we get into Psychic Terrain, and that messes everything up because Psychic type moves are increased by 50%. So 50% from the Psychic Terrain plus 50% on Stab means even a 2x super effective hit, as long as it's not resisted, it's just better throughout the Psychic anyways. So it's mostly dual typings where you're going to have to be looking for those little bits of extra damage. And then this is where Psychic Terrain really pays off. If Pokemon's on the ground, it will not be affected by moves with a speed priority of 1 or higher. This does not affect moves with increased priority that the user uses on itself. So Prankster Safeguard, like, it doesn't stop and eliminate all priority. So just Pokemon that are not grounded, which means I guess you like get to fake out a flying type or a levitate Pokemon as well. And I'm wondering if there's maybe some kind of combo that you could do with it, because if you have gravity on your side of the field, then it's going to ground everything, so it means everything on your field is going to be safe, even levitate and flying type Pokemon. Grounding is a really interesting thing that kind of works with those terrain moves, but overall, no priority to worry about when it's up, and then Tapu Lele doesn't have to worry about that either, so that's going to be pretty good. If the Pokemon is holding the item Psychic Seed, special defense will be boosted by 1 stage, so maybe like Trick Room combos, like Psychic type Pokemon, very powerful on their Trick Room, so you Psychic Seed next to a Lele, you get your Trick Room going, and then you can make it work. Now Lele, 95 speed, a little too fast for Trick Room, just kind of showing that Psychic Terrain has its own setups and stuff like that. Also, there are a few Pokemon that just get straight up access to the move, so we have Musharna and Beheeyem and the Oranguru if you don't want to have the terrain set up from the Psychic Surge off of the Tapu Lele. Hopping into Pokemon Showdown, Choice Scarf, like 95 base speed, Choice Scarf, Neutral Nature, Modest. This is going to be your best bet for just pummeling the opponent with insane amounts of damage. You just run into the Psychic and hope for the best. Also, with that Fairy typing, you can hit Dark type super effective as well. So you will be Scarf locked into it, but if you can still make predictions, or if you still just switch out Tapu Lele, bring it back in later, start using Moonblast, the opponent will just go away, because 130 special attack, throwing out stab moves, and extra boosting from the Psychic Surge is just going to be absolutely nuts. We don't have to worry about priority, so pretty much we're just going to straight up outspeed everything, And with that tankiness, you know, we can still survive some physical hits. We resist special hits as well. So yeah, we throw out a hit, tank up a hit, throw out a hit, maybe tank up another hit, and overall everything else in our way is just going to go and get one shot. But here's what makes Tapu Lele crazy, is because when I was talking on Twitter, I'm just like, I have no idea what these Tapu Pokemon are capable of and where this damage is coming from and how they work. And everyone's saying like Tapu Lele is the best because that Psychic Surge with the 130 special attack is just way too good. I mean, we already saw the damage that we were going to be able to put out with the Tapu Bulu. Now we're actually just using more base power on that Psychic, and we don't have to worry about recoil from like a Wood Hammer or something. So there's good amounts of damage coming across. So it seems like Tapu Lele is just one of the best Pokemon to invest stats into. And I mean, Rabombi in singles. No, it's so good. Quiver Dance, Baton Pass. You Quiver Dance, Baton Pass into Tapu Lele, and then you just win. And also, you wouldn't have Scarf in that situation. You'd have like a Life Orb or some kind of other item. And if you safely get in, which is pretty doable with the Tapu Lele, then now you have access to this really good coverage right here, and everything is going to straight up die. And it depends on how many Quiver Dance you get. If they're going for setup, we might be able to get a second Quiver Dance, and then Lele just destroys everything, but also showing that any kind of Baton Pass change, that evolutions are available, so Calm Mind with the Espeon Baton Pass could be really scary. We also have some speed boosting, or any other Baton Pass really, and we just pour those stats into Lele, we win. That's how good Tapu Lele is. It's not like something is going to cheese surprise us. It's like, oh, Talonflame isn't going to come in and then one-shot us with a Brave Bird, as long as Psychic Terrain is up, so we're looking pretty good right there. And then also, we just have a Calm Mind set for ourselves. So this could work with just speed boosting, that if you bring speed stats in, you can make a makeshift Quiver Dance. Alright, you Baton Pass an agility or a speed boost, and then you can Calm Mind on top of that, and then you go for the one-shots on everything. Calm Mind does eat up a slot, but doesn't really matter, and then Life Orb just seals the deal on so much ridiculous amounts of damage. So now let's go hop on over to the damage calculations right here with the Tapu Lele. Just straight up, I was looking modest Psychic Surge on a Pokemon like Garchomp. We have solidness, you know, 252 on the special attack. We don't one-hit KO the Garchomp unless we have a Life Orb, but then that just shows that we can add all kinds of crazy stuff to this. If we're going for bulk specs, damage gets insane. If we have just, say, speed boost, no other stat boost, and we have a Life Orb, as long as we're outspeeding, damage gets insane. So that's a neutral Psychic KOing a Garchomp. That's a 108 hit point Pokemon with 85 in the special defense. It's going to be pretty crazy right there. Also, I know that we have the Moonblast, but I'm just kind of showing it for the relative damage comparisons. The Psychic still locks up KOs on those very tanky Pokemon, then just kind of showing the overkill that you'll get on a super effective hit. Also, some other things like Modest Life Orb against a Pokemon like Lapras. This is just mostly showing the Thunderbolt comparison, that a super effective hit like Thunderbolt wouldn't be enough to KO, but Psychic will be on a +1. So say we have the Calm Mind, say we're going into Quiver Dance or something like that. That +1, even taking out very tanky Pokemon. We have the Calm Nature max hit point invested Lapras, and our Psychic one-shots it, but it shows that the Thunderbolt doesn't, so we're having to look for resist. Mostly, Thunderbolt will work on Pokemon like Skarmory. Skarmory, Steel-type Pokemon, they'll resist us, so we can just throw down Thunderbolt for that damage, or the Shadow Ball if we need the neutral as well. So just kind of showing the different ways that we can kind of moderate the damage on a Pokemon like this with our coverage, and then just looking at how much we can survive as well. So Thunderbolt with the Tapu Koko, not going to be enough to KO us because we have high amount of special defense, even with the Electric Terrain up. So Electric Terrain, Tapu Koko, getting all of that in there on the Life Orb, Timid, Outspeed. Nope, not going to be enough to KO us. And then we'll just go and absolutely wreck it with a Psychic. Also, that means Tapu Koko has to come in after us because we're slower Pokemon. So we underspeed. We'll set our terrain first, which would actually make it a mystery terrain. And then that's when we go like Modest and all kinds of stuff like that. I just like the 95 speed, so it means we can still Modest Scarf if we want to, or we can also go and put in the stats. Life Orb on a +1 or whatever setup we have with Tapu Lele just kind of goes and ruin Tapu Koko's day. If we were Scarfed, as you can see, we'll still set the terrain, outspeed on the Scarf, it doesn't do enough damage, and we can still two-shot the Tapu Koko, or respectable Pokemon, on that. So yeah, like, this is just kind of showing the 2-hit KO range. We deal damage, we take damage, we deal damage, GG right there. Actually, that was on Misty Terrain, so Psychic Terrain, oh, never mind. Psychic Terrain is still enough, right, because Tapu Koko is pretty frail, 70, 75. Those are the KO ranges on even a Modest Scarf for the Tapu Lele. This is why people say it's so good. This is why people fear it so much. It just comes in and shuts down so many Pokemon with such a ridiculous insta-stab, neutral, just destruction right there. So on a lot of Pokemon, you can do this if you have Stealth Rocks up, if you use it in the late game, like a lot of the opponent's Pokemon are already weakened, you can use it to break down tanky Pokemon, Wall Break, and then, yeah, the Life Orb setup into some other stats is also pretty freaking ridiculous. I don't really think there's much else to say about Tapu Lele. Like, the Moonblast, like, it's so crazy. That Fairy is a good typing. Having a very high power, high special attack, Fairy-type Pokemon running Stab and doing all these things would normally be very, very powerful, but the Psychic Terrain just kind of trumps that, removes priority as well. So that's a very safe way to play the game. That you just set your Psychic Terrain in doubles, you don't have to worry about the fake out or anything like that, and then you just run the damage. And that's why I'm feeling you can run that Psychic under the Scarf, or you can go for Trick Room and do all kinds of really funny, nutty things. Ooh, actually, Oranguru, maybe. Because Oranguru can instruct you on that Psychic Terrain, and then if you're Scarfed, you're already outspeeding the opponents and doing big amounts of damage. So you can do some good damage follow-up right there on the Instruct or something like that, but without the Life Orb, it does cut a little bit of damage, so there might be some kind of really crazy... Ooh, I got another idea. I'm having some good strokes right now. So Dazzling Gleam in doubles against a... I'm trying to just think of like a good neutral. Let's just bring out Tapu Koko again, because Tapu Koko, it's kind of a decent range. So the Dazzling Gleam, split damage. I don't care if it's electric or psychic terrain, it's still going to be pretty big right there. We do need to take off the Life Orb to simulate... So we'll be able to 2-hit KO both of the opponent's Pokemon neutrally with the Dazzling Gleam, because Dazzling Gleam hits both, we instruct, we hit both, and then the KO ranges are looking pretty good. 98% chance to 2-hit KO. Now, say first turn we Calm Mind, and then we also get a Trick Room set up, and then we underspeed, and then we're at +1 into Dazzling Gleam. Well then, it's like we get Psychic and just one-shot everything, or we can Dazzling Gleam. So depending on the setup, like I feel the Psychic works out really well, because you kind of worry about Prankster Taunt, and if you don't have to worry about that, you're good to go. Maybe even run like the Mental Herb on the Trick Room Pokemon. Just have a really bulky Trick Room Pokemon, make it to where it's really threatening, and then your Fake Out, you're not going to get faked out. You're not going to get any kind of cheesed into your setup. So then you just go, set it up, win, and then Oranguru Instruct. So even though you're only Psychic and you're relying heavily on the Psychic Terrain, I still think it's more than enough damage and more than enough diversity, because like Psychic Fairy, you can cover out really well with that. So we're looking pretty solid, and that could just be another combo with the Oranguru. So hope you guys enjoy the video. Tapu Lele, it's pretty crazy. It is crazy. It does take a lot of investment, does take a lot of things to go right, but when it does, it just wins. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.